Hello, welcome to SquishiVision, where I'm going to quickly react to episodes 6 and 7 of Prodigy, Imposter Syndrome, and the Race. We're very much now getting into the meat of the show. I think this is about the same time that the first season kind of got into its meat, so this is kind of like expected. Episode 6 was... I need to rewatch episode 6 again, mainly because my brain is all scattered around, so... a fun twin dilemma episode where the protagonists, there's two versions of protagonists and you can't tell who's the real one. I think actually isn't that the thing, whatever. Yeah, it deserves a bit more attention than I was able to kind of give it with how my brain is and was and still is. It was definitely a fun kind of concept. I don't know how much I buy, but they could create holograms that were that good. But if you don't know what you're looking for, you can't work out who's a hologram and who isn't. I can accept that you'd make holograms passingly good. That if you weren't looking for them, you wouldn't think that they were holograms. But holograms that were that good. But it does kind of create the existentialism of creating holograms that think that they are through and through the real person and what that kind of means. So that was kind of fun. Perhaps something that really could have done with having more time given to it than the episode's runtime, but yeah, what can you do? I am kind of a tiny bit frustrated, just a tiny bit, with the whole thing that's present in this show so far, with all of the hijinks being the kids aren't communicating, not trusting the adults, aren't trusting even members of Starfleet. It is a the not now kid trope is a very much an established part of fiction, so it's not entirely Prodigy's kind of sin to bear, so to speak, but I kind of was hoping we were past that, and we're not. Like if they just said to Voyager, like, but a lot of this is kind of my own knowledge of Janeway. But I know if they spoke to Janeway, we're like, hey, Janeway, we have this message that we have strong evidence to prove is from Chakotay, and we know where they are. And also, Starfleet hasn't said they can't go after Chakotay. They just said don't keep the wormhole open. They didn't say anything about having to abandon Chakotay specifically, or the protostar. So they're like, oh look, we've got evidence that this is where Voyager is. Let's go and deal with it. We've done that. But also, I kind of get these characters being very much not part of the Federation or didn't grow up in the Federation, might not have, and having to fend for themselves their entire lives. It kind of justifies it more that they wouldn't be that kind of sense, but also there wouldn't be that kind of. They would have that suspicion, but also they've been in whatever. It's very unclear because they're not cadets; they're pre-cadets. They're kind of high school, but they're called warrant officers, which isn't. That's not what warrant officers are in real life. It's a bit confusing. Like technically, Chief O'Brien was a warrant officer. So like, this is very much taking the term and not really caring much what it means, and obviously. There's an obligation for Star Trek in universe to use a warrant officer rank the same way that we use a warrant officer rank, but it has been pretty consistent with its kind of how it's based things off, more or less. So it is a bit confusing there. They have been in this kind of school thing for like a year. You would have thought by now they would have been like, let's trust at least Janeway, given that Janeway has shown all this trust towards them. But hey ho. Equally, it's kind of frustrating. It's also frustrating in Star Trek when someone is clearly acting like out of character, and immediately that's not like a massive security red alert situation, considering how like it must be such a really like paranoid world to live in where someone acts slightly differently. Like, is this just them having an off day? Are they unwell, or have they been possessed? But if I was a Starfleet officer and someone was acting a bit strange or a bit unusual, I would get them like full like check straight away, no questions asked. So the second those senior officers walked into the room and you had Dal speaking like Zira, I would be like, this needs investigating, but that wasn't really the case. Yeah, the hijinks in Imposter Syndrome was fun. I think it could have done with more time. The race felt like a more serious episode than it kind of ended up being. Yeah, there wasn't much substance in that episode. And then suddenly went very kind of heavy on the Zira doing that massive kind of sacrifice move for the rest of her crew, which is very on brand for Zira to do. But like the last time they did this, it was a very big dramatic moment. Whereas this, it was just like, I'm gonna just headbutt this computer. Yeah, it is. The pacing does seem kind of off, but maybe that's just where my headspace is. On that note, I have a job to apply for that I am way behind, pushing the limits. So I'm gonna end the stream, focus on that. Inevitably, we'll probably watch some more tonight. Maybe get up to episode 10, and then we're halfway through. I'm not sure if we're how much on schedule we are from what I want it to be, but keep it short and sweet. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later on today. Goodbye.